Friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality, to your health and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 30 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you. We welcome your calls. On the bright side, 844-236-6010 is our call-in number, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, formulations, ingredients, skin health issues, questions or comments about our Truth Skin Health products, 844-236-6010 is our number. And, of course, if you just want to contribute to the conversation, we welcome your calls. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on the program, please call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470 or head over to my blog, pharmacistben.com, criticalhealthnews.com. You can also go to brightsideben.com, order products right off the website, or you can sign up to join the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $25 fee. We can help change the world one health challenge at a time, and you can make some money while you're doing it. Call the phone team at 866-735-2470 or head over to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And, of course, if you want to check out our Truth Skin Health products, go to truthtreatments.com. Check out our Retinol 5% gel especially, as well as our Truth Serum, Truth Balm, and Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream. Okay, welcome back to The Bright Side. I want to continue talking about cancer as it regards our steroid hormones, which play an important role in carcinogenesis, particularly estrogen and cortisol. Also, there's a role for the ketogenic diet, for fasting, for caloric restriction when it comes to understanding cancer, for understanding how to deal with it, for preventing cancer, as well as slowing down its progression. The dietary link to cancer, in my opinion, is the ultimate key to how we deal with the problem, which is an epidemic, and it isn't getting much better. Since 1975, incidence of cancer has increased slightly, mortality has decreased slightly, but really we haven't made much progress at all. And I would present that the main reason is because we have not really understood the link between our foods and our digestion and cancer. And I'm not talking about cancer-killing foods. I'm not talking about special fruits or herbs that kill cancer. I'm talking about how the toxicity of what we're eating and a broken down digestive system is related to the initiation of cancer, and how changing what we eat and how correcting digestive problems can be so important and so relevant when it comes to dealing with the disease. Cancer is a metabolic condition. That means it involves energy. There's a really cool book if you're interested in. It's kind of scientific and technical, but it's super, super important for folks who want to understand cancer. It's called Cancer as a Metabolic Disease. It's a textbook, and it is somewhat sciencey, but man, is this an important book when it comes to understanding what cancer is really all about. It's a metabolic condition. That means it involves energy and how the body provides energy, which of course is going to implicate oxygen. That's the respiratory link to cancer. And that's important. And then it's going to also involve sugar and food, these are the three basic elements of energy. oxygen, sugar, and food. So if you understand that cancer is a metabolic or an energy condition, then obviously the major elements of energy, which are food, oxygen, and sugar, are going to be involved. And also, that also means that the cell is involved. Now, that seems obvious that it's the cell that's involved, but that's not how medicine approaches cancer. Medicine approaches cancer by focusing on tumors and by focusing on the obvious growths. Now, that makes sense. I'm not saying that's a wrong thing, but that's not where the cancer begins. Now, sure, that's by the time a doctor notices the problem, it's at the growth level or the tumor level. But our control is not at the tumor level, it's at the cell level. At the tumor level, we just have to radiate it or kill it or excise it, and I'm not saying that that's not sometimes necessary. But our control over the process is at the cell level, and cancer is a cell issue. It's not primarily a tumor issue, and by the way, it's not primarily a genetic issue. Yes, genetics are involved, they're involved in everything, but it's not like one gene causes cancer. Oh, I have the gene for cancer. I have the BRCA gene, that means I got to have a mastectomy. That's not how it works. Yes, genes are involved, and yes, if you have a tumor or growth, that's a problem, but our control is in the middle. It's at the cell level. Genes are responsive to what the cell is experiencing. Genes turn on and off like Christmas tree lights, depending on what the cell is sitting in or what the cell is experiencing. Genes turn on and off in response to messages that are coming to it from the cell's interior first and from the cell's membrane, which in turn is responding to the environment. So cells sitting in an environment, the membrane is reading the environment, it's processing the information from the environment. That makes the cell membrane an information processor. Bruce Lipton talks about this in his book, The Biology of Belief. Really, really cool book and very easy to read. If you're interested in how this whole thing works, Bruce Lipton is one of the foremost proponents of the idea that the cell membrane and the environment that the cell is sitting in is what controls the genes. You're not going to hear that from the medical model. They want to control the genes themselves. They want to create medicines and create drugs and create special kinds of chemicals that will change the genes. We don't need to do that. We need to change the environment that the cell is sitting in, and that's where we have our control. This gives us power. Understanding the relationship between the outside part of a cell, the stuff a cell is sitting in, and the genetics is our power. The genetic model steals our power. We control our genetics by our life choices, and that's what controls what the cell is sitting in. And folks, that is power. That is control over our body because the environment is in our control for the most part. All disease is cell disease, and that includes cancer. And because all cell disease is based on three things: starvation, suffocation, and toxification, we have power here. We have control here. Who is it that controls what a cell eats? We do. Who is it that controls how well a cell is respirating? We do. Who is it that controls the toxicity that a cell is sitting in? We do. There ain't no drugs for this. There's no drugs that can feed a cell or breathe a cell or clean a cell. None. There's nothing in the doctor's magic bag of tricks that can feed a cell, breathe a cell, or detoxify a cell. Of course, after you get the starvation, suffocation, and toxification, you get inflammation. Leads to more starvation, suffocation, and toxification, and that's where disease begins. And that's why it spirals out of control, and that's why doctors are helpless, impotent, can do nothing to reverse this process. Because the cell isn't going to take a doctor's medicine. All a doctor can do is trick the cell into taking the drug by disguising a chemical so it looks like something friendly to the cell, resulting in some kind of suppression of a process that the cell does, or a doctor can radiate a cell or excise the cell, but they cannot feed the cell, they cannot breathe the cell, they cannot clean the cell, but that doesn't matter because we can do it ourselves. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lines open for you at 844-236-6010 if you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs. If you have a comment or a success story you'd like to share, if you've read something in the paper or heard it on the news and you want clarification, 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about the longevity products or our Truth Skin Health products, 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. Of course, if you're interested in purchasing any of the longevity products, you can head over to brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, or pharmacistben.com. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team, and you and I can help change the world together right off our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. Okay, so we're talking about cancer. I'm going to spend a couple more days talking on this really important subject. There's tons of books and articles and stories on the internet, research on the internet about killing cancer, but I take a different approach. I like to think of not just killing cancer, but making the body strong enough so it can deal with cancer. This idea really, it takes advantage, it leverages the power of the human body to heal itself, and that's what the Bright Side is all about, the power of the human body to heal itself, the control we have over our health issues, over our health challenges. That's the take-home message every day on this program. The control we have over our chronic long-term degenerative diseases, including cancer, the emperor of all maladies. So cancer is a metabolic disease. It's an energy disease. Cells are not able to do what they need to do, so they go backwards in time to a time when they divided really, really rapidly. Dividing rapidly seems to be one of the ways the cells cope with this lack of energy that's caused from toxicity, caused from starvation, and caused from suffocation. So this out-of-control cell growth ends up creating these immature, less than functional cells. So you get all of these cells growing really fast, and because they're growing so fast, they don't have time to mature. Not only are they growing in this out-of-control fashion, but they're non-functional, or they're less than functional. Interestingly, if you take a cell and you put it into a healthy environment, it reverts back to normalcy. Cells can revert back to normalcy. Cancer cells can revert back to normal cells. And this has been shown many times that cancer cells can turn backwards and they can become healthy cells. That's powerful information, folks. That means that once a cell's cancerous, it's not doomed necessarily. It can change. One of the ways it can change is by putting it into a normal environment, a healthy environment with lots of food and and when I say food, I'm talking the mighty 90 essential nutrients, lots of oxygen, and a clean environment. And by the way, sugar represents a toxin in addition, of course, to drugs. Yeah, drugs represent toxins. So prescription drugs are carcinogenic. It doesn't matter what it says in the package insert or if it's been FDA approved. Just by definition, they're going to create a toxicity that can lead to cancer. So anyway, you take a cell is capable of reverting back, a cancer cell is capable of reverting back to a normal, healthy cell. There are switches that can be turned on. They're doing it in the laboratory now. They're artificially doing it, but you can also do it by taking a cancer cell and putting it in a normal environment. That indicates there's some mechanism in the environment or the medium that a cell is sitting in that controls its growth. Under ordinary circumstances, under ordinary healthy circumstances, cell growth is controlled by the environment. This is really amazing feedback that takes place from the environment to the cell to the environment. They're in constant communication. So yeah, all disease is cell disease, but you can't really separate the cell from its environment. In fact, there's the three parts, the cell, the membrane, and the environment form what is called the matrixome. And this matrixome is this nexus of health or disease. The cell, the membrane, and the stuff that the cell is sitting in. If you can kind of picture a living cell sitting in an environment, you can zoom in to where the cell membrane is, and you can see three parts. You can see the inside of a cell, the membrane, and the environment. And these three areas, they're called the matrixome, or the nexus of health, or the lack thereof. That's why that environment that the cell is sitting in is so important. And it's not just the local environment, by the way. It's not just the environment that the cell is sitting in. It's not just the environment that the cell is sitting in. It's also the environment that we are sitting in, that our body is sitting in. That includes the air that we breathe.